Right, I'd like to call to order the City of Monona Landmarks Commission for the meeting of Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Thor, who do we have here tonight? We have everyone?
Yep, and Rebecca, John, and Jean are not able to make it. We do have quorum.
Fabulous. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our February 14th meeting?
I would to approve the minutes. Second.
So we have a motion by Rebecca, seconded by Branda. All in favor?
Aye.
Fabulous. All right. I should back up. I meant to ask if there are any corrections that anyone would like to make. No? Okay. Motion passes. Great. Moving on to unfinished business, we have number 5A, discussion and possible action on 4529 Winnequa Road, also known as Lambole Cottage, and the landmark documentation for that. So Thor, do you want to take it from here then?
Yeah, let me share my screen here. Oh, gotta give myself permission. All right. Got, so we discussed this last week or last month, 4529 Winnequa Road, Lambole Cottage. I've made the recommended edits that we discussed last month. Those are all, that's all the red text you see in the packet. So we can continue to discuss if there's anything else we'd like to see added or any changes. Otherwise, we could take a motion to approve. The changes are just some of the additional details that Anne had shared in the newsletter submission back around the new year. So it includes some more architectural details like the inward opening windows and some more historical significance of the property.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anchorage call out, some more history about the hotel, about the first property owner or of the structure.
Boy, Anne, thank you for all your work on this.
That's fine, no problem.
Really appreciated.
Thank my mom. She's the one who did it.
Oh, great.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she's like a total historian, like before ancestors. She was it. She was down at the historical society doing data, you know, what do you call it?
Well, I move
That data fish or whatever. That old stuff.
to accept the landmark documentation. How it was the landmark documentation.
Is there a motion? Was that Branda?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
That was Rebecca making the motion and Branda will second.
Very good, very good. And is there any discussion before we vote, any discussion on any further changes that are needed at all? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the documentation as presented in our meeting packet? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye for me also. Motion passes. I just seriously just thank you so much to your mom and to you,
I
Anne.
really enjoyed the context that was added extra. That was really too.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, and like I say, you wouldn't believe the crap I got. Yeah.
Just for my own understanding, is this what we have for the Lambole College? Is this sort of the depth of information that we're hoping to get for all of our landmarks?
I think that this might be, is this one of our lengthier ones?
It probably is.
Lengthier.
A
Yeah.
little bit
Have it.
extra, but
Anything we can get.
I think so, yeah, anything we can get. I think this one has a lengthier one also, just because there's been updates to it, so
Yeah.
there's like meeting minutes and stuff, so.
Sure, sure.
not all of them may have that,
Right, so I was looking, I saw Mary Lou and I was like, what's that?
yeah.
So what is the next address that you wanted to work on?
So later on the agenda, we'll be discussing 6204 Ridgewood Avenue, Nichols Farm. Then we'll
Okay.
decide
Does
on
it make sense to just jump to it now? If you.
Oh,
if you-
no, I was just wondering,
No, we can
no, keep
go in
going.
order.
Okay, then we'll move on to 5B, discussion and possible action on 2024 Landmark Commission or plan.
All right, so this was discussed last month as well. I've made a few edits that we discussed, just small edits. I should have highlighted those in red here as well. But that includes the creating a strategy for the 2025 landmark tour and testing that out this year. And then some updated information on the Springhaven Pagoda based on the RFP that we didn't get any bids on. So.
But Thor, there
and
was
then
a.
I've updated some of the dates as well to make those more realistic.
Thor, there was a little meeting about the pagoda. Would you like to sort of pass along?
That's later on the agenda. Under
We-
staff updates, I'll update on the meeting with leadership and we can discuss then.
Sounds great. So then just looking at this sort of a project list, how do folks feel about what we've got listed here? Does that feel like something that we can accomplish? It looks like the last date, December, that takes us through December 2024. We think about that last column over to the right, where it says volunteer group versus city staff. Or I guess the commission. So volunteer group or commission instead of city staff. There's sort of a balance, I think, of who might be charged with some of these or who might take it on.
So the international style homes, that's probably the one that should be addressed first. To get that on the webpage,
I
right?
thought that already was on the webpage.
To get up,
We discussed having a featured
yeah,
home,
Featured
you know,
home.
making a kind of a carousel slides and people can click and get to an individual web page for each home. There's definitely some improvements that
Okay.
we could work on.
mhm.
Later on the agenda, we also have to discuss Historic Preservation Month. So I
Mhm.
think a lot of our conversation with this last month focused on Historic Preservation Month.
Yep.
So
Why
I
don't-
think this one, right now with the discussion, is if there's any glaring omissions or timeline issues, then that's what we should discuss.
So Thor,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is July as soon as we're looking at an RFP for the CLG for the historic district?
Check, we're expecting the MOA from WHS for the end of the week. That's recent.
By RFP submission, does that mean it'll be drafted and ready to send out in July? Is
Yeah,
that what it-
so,
That's what the timeline is?
right, yeah,
Okay.
we have our sent out by July.
Because I'm gonna be in June to review.
Yeah.
Thor, as you look over this, this scope of work, do you have any concerns about the timelines or just the amount of work for city staff?
No, I don't.
Great. And then, just if I were to go back and look at items that would be assigned to non-city staff, the first thing would be those local landmark markers. And, unless I'm misremembering, I have it in my head that we still don't have a response from Craig Deller, correct?
Right, yeah, I think we should move on from that idea and either try and find someone else who can do it or just try and DIY. painting them.
Right. And
And I did reach out last year to a couple other like monument and plaque organizations in the area, and they all said they don't do that kind of work.
right. So in terms of DIY, what are your thoughts? I mean, at one point we discussed just getting a bunch of people with some soapy water and scrub brushes.
In the past, there were a couple people that did try DIYing it and it did not work to
Not
their
work.
expectations.
Rick did.
And Wellman, right?
I
You're
just
walking
sweep
Wiley.
it. I just
Yeah.
sweep mine.
Yeah, I didn't think that DIYing
Yeah, I
really worked.
think it'll require some kind of chemical restoration to remove the layer of oxidation. We've tried maybe just abrasives and cleaners, but it might require some kind of chemical. And that's what Craig was proposing.
And when the plaque is cleaned, properly, for lack of a better word, is the final product meant to be a coppery color, the entire thing? Is that what you have envisioned?
The newer ones should be brassy.
Brassy, yeah.
Rick shared some old meeting minutes with me that indicate that the older ones might actually be aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Yeah,
the proper type of plaque.
Yeah.
They're aluminum.
So they're just
They're just
gonna.
gonna.
or the cleaning treatment.
Well, they're
or
just gonna corrode.
They're gonna do
Okay.
the part, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe shift focus to replacing the
I would
aluminum ones.
think that that would probably be a better
Yeah.
option, and I don't know what the cost difference would be. It was like $500 to clean it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Craig was it was $400 for cleaning one marker, demonstrate the process for us.
I don't know which particular ones, I don't remember which particular ones were like so bad that they needed.
I think the town hall. Wasn't that one of them?
That one's in pretty decent shape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
the
that one
Alex
has a photo
House.
on it. So that's a newer one, right?
Yeah.
Cause that has a photo on it.
I don't remember what the concern was.
Yeah, the Black Bridge is definitely one of them that's in rough shape.
What they
I think.
just put that on the bridge, but it's a brand new
Okay.
bridge.
It's a new bridge.
I think
Old
that's a
Black
newer
would
one.
have been,
Okay, yeah. I'd have to
Maybe we need to
refresh
figure out
my
which
memory.
ones
Yeah,
are
Right.
in bad shape and see what they look like and see if they're worth
replacing.
replacing.
Yeah, yeah. Craig indicated that he'd be able to restore them, whether they're brass or aluminum. Felt confident
Then you're
in
just
doing
gonna,
that
it's just gonna be a cycle
thing. Okay,
of aluminum deteriorating. It's
Sure.
not meant to really
the weather.
sit on a rock.
Yeah.
Mhm. With road salt being thrown. Yeah.
Okay,
That's my.
sure.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know how appropriate this is. But you will let me know. If it is the purpose of cleaning the marker to make it more readable, to make the letters stand out from the background.
I thought that was the purpose.
That's kind of what I thought too. So here's my thought. The plaque is made of metal. It's not easily destructed. What if a group of volunteers were to make the lettering easier to read by simply removing the built-up gunk from the. So the plaque is, it has high places and low places, right? The letters are raised. I have in my own possession, and you can purchase very inexpensively, tiny little hand sanders that are triangular, and you can get into the corners, and just by sanding off the top layer of gunk, it would make the letters shiny against the matte finish, the matte background. Would that be something that this body might consider to be worthy of a pilot test? Or is that just not at all?
I don't think that's a bad idea. I think we need to know which markers,
Yeah.
which plaques these are and what they actually look like, because, you know, is it worn down or is it just built
Yeah.
up with gunk, or, you know, like, I don't know what the condition
Yeah.
and cleaning of them was.
Mhm.
So there's a marker on the corner of Dean and Rothman? No, Dean and
Mhm.
Yeah, Rothman.
Yeah.
Rothman? Okay.
Yeah, the greenhouse.
And I'll confess, I walk my dog around the block quite often, and I walk right past it. And one day I just walked right up to it and I started to scratch at the letters. And I really do think that there's a shiny surface underneath there that could very easily be brushed off.
Was that
Um,
one hard to read, or was that?
It was difficult to read, but I just took my fingernail and I just kept on scratching at it. And I mean, and then the next time I walked around, full disclosure, I took a tiny little piece of sandpaper with me and I put it in my pocket and I walked up to the sign and I scuffed it up with some sandpaper, like 1,000 grit sandpaper used for, auto body, really, really tiny, very, very fine grit sandpaper. And it worked. So I just don't know how DIY we want to go on this, but
Maybe
don't think-
identify the ones that we can't read and why we can't read
I
them.
think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
just the inventory of all the plaques,
Inventory, what
maybe,
they look
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
that's
It'd
probably
be nice
the
to have
next
an
step.
inventory of the plaques anyway.
Yeah,
that's a good point. We should have an inventory of plaques. That's a really great point.
But keep them in the file of
Yeah.
their.
yeah, there should be, yeah,
And maybe just like a cleaning schedule or a maintenance schedule, that makes sense. Do we need to recruit volunteers to go around and check in on those, or what are the thoughts of how do we go about making that happen?
I can drive around with you. Drive around and take a picture of them all.
That's
Drive
why
around
you
and
should
take
get
And I was
pictures
gonna say,
of it.
when I was looking up the other stuff, there is the, what's this?
The historical.
Historical
Yeah.
marker database,
Yeah,
and that's what I
there-
looked through these here, not all of them are on there.
they're not, no, or Rick, I think, was making an effort to get,
Yeah, but some of them you can see have that darker background, the ones here.
Right, they're.
So maybe I'll go through and then take a picture of the ones that are not on this database.
It would be nice to just have a new picture of all of them, so we
All,
see what
okay.
condition all of them
Yeah.
are in.
I'll do that.
I mean, there's a couple of them we just put up,
replaced, yeah.
Yeah.
probably,
But even then.
but still having a
the
picture
goal
and
is
a
to add the
date.
pictures to the file.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a date.
all right.
I'll skip school and do that.
It's fantastic, Anne. Thank you. Fantastic. The next thing that catches my eye on the work plan is also something for the commission, and it talks about Historic Preservation Month. It's the last thing under that short-term section, the month of May. A couple of things, re-airing some PSAs, essentially recycling them, I think. They're probably already recorded. And then possibly looking into the idea of doing a little tour of some local landmark properties. And Rebecca and I spoke about this sort of offline at an event we both were at, and kind of brought Anne into the conversation. Like, would Anne be interested in just having like one day in the month of May, some weekend, Saturday or Sunday, where people would just be allowed to come in and have an open house. And I understand that that's not something that, that you'd be comfortable with, which totally okay. No pressure whatsoever, no pressure. But, I mean,
No pressure.
we
got
did
4
talk
months.
about maybe doing something very, very small, just like, again, like a pilot, see what happens, see if we want to do it at a bigger scale in following years.
I
What
think, like I said, doing it down there in the Crosswoods area,
Mhm.
emphasizing you got the new sidewalks down there for people to just walk through and see Bungalow Owens new marker, the new marker for that, other
Well, there's no
international.
markers.
Or, you
No,
know,
Bungalow has a marker.
yeah, but you know what I
the
mean,
other
I
does
think
not.
focus for the, historical preservation month,
Mhm.
maybe just out of one neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's gotten, that we have been working to have attention,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, my thought is because we were conversing about it earlier, and you weren't
That's okay.
not interested, and we were still thinking about whether or not, to ask the owner of Bungalow, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's giving people enough time, because it's next month.
I
So
know,
I
I know.
had a different thought of, we have this new map. And maybe we get that map out at the library and at the city counter
Yeah.
and, wherever else we could get it out, and it had, just say, hey, it's preservation month, here's our
Right, you already
plan.
got that going.
Yeah, we'll certainly do that.
That's a great idea, just for the time being. It's super easy to do that. In general, do you think that this idea of just like seeing if tours would be possible, would that be something to think about? Or, I mean, it just feels like, I think the
I
community
think
would.
it's a
be
strategy that we should try to do for next year if we,
Yeah.
and if, our agendas allow for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels to me like it wouldn't have to be that labor intensive to coordinate. More than anything, some of the emails that we've shared, more than anything, I think it's just getting ahead of it enough that you can get it into the newsletters and, just getting it on people's calendars.
Yeah.
We were looking at the last weekend in May, but then realized that was Memorial Day weekend. Would the first weekend in June be silly to shoot for that, or would that be?
That's high school graduation weekend.
Oh,
Ah.
yeah.
It's always something,
That's why I
right?
think trying to get it done within a month is just kind of pushing it.
It
I
is,
think,
it is.
I think trying to plan for it for the following year, picking a date
Mhm.
soon, for next year.
Yeah,
For next May might be a better
Yeah.
idea, and then maybe we can do a little research into how other communities do this kind of thing, that communities our size.
that is a good idea. So when I'm looking at, so then we could actually do it like the beginning of May, maybe? Would that be something to shoot for, the beginning of May 2025?
Yeah.
Because Brandy, you bring up an excellent point. First weekend in June is high school graduation. But
Well, I think the end of May in general it tends to get busier with high schools and schools. Early May would probably be a better idea.
May 2025, put it on our work plan. And
The
then
11th is Mother's Day of next year, so you don't want to do that.
So
You're
is that
right.
college graduation?
But that doesn't mean May 10th is out. If
Yeah,
it
you
was
could do May
Saturday,
10th.
you just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Is
Yeah.
that is that UW graduation?
I don't know, I mean, I don't know that UW graduation affects Monona
Yeah.
so much. High school graduation, you're gonna have
Local.
traffic and parties and just
Yeah.
May
lot of
10th
stuff.
might be a good day to shoot for.
What date was
You
that?
do a 9-10 even.
May 10th
Friday,
is
Saturday.
a Saturday, the
May
second
10th?
Saturday in May.
And when is Mother's Day again? That's on a
May
Sunday.
11th.
May 11th, okay. That could be great. May 10th.
I think a Saturday would be better than a Sunday too, if you want to
Exactly.
get volunteers and stuff.
Okay. So we're just gonna call it like, I don't know, I'm just gonna put something on my calendar. Just like, would it be an open house? I guess we don't have to decide right now, but I'll just put it on my calendar, just I don't know, I'll just put it open house.
Give you another heads up, that first Saturday, that Saturday will be the first day for farmer's market on the square.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah, we do
Like 6
Saturday
a.m.
afternoon, yeah.
I'm like,
I think
The circus rolls until about 2 down there, so I'm just letting you know for the first Saturday on farmer's market.
I
Did
mean,
we-
there's gonna be something every
It
weekend. I'm
is a
sure.
circus every day in the city.
Yeah. Frostwoods, that would not have been nominated yet by that time.
Oh, it wouldn't be, oh, okay.
It will be in the process.
It'll be in the
But it will not
process,
Yeah.
be.
but it will not be a
Yeah,
neighborhood
right.
by then, it will
Okay.
not be a
Yeah.
historic district.
I think
by
we're
then.
looking.
That'll be
at
a
two
2026.
So that would be a better 2026 target.
Okay.
Because then you'd say, hey, here's our new historic district.
Exactly, that's what I was
That-
thinking, I'm sorry, Victoria was ahead of
Yeah.
that.
Was May 3rd ruled out for some, maybe I didn't hear thoughts about May 3rd? If we wanted to avoid the circus of the,
I think it's like we say, there's something every weekend, you
Yeah.
know, it's just so hard.
okay,
Well, I mean, it's planning stages now, we
Yeah,
could
so-
just identify a few days that works for the commission and then.
Yeah,
So the
Sure.
beginning part of May,
Just
like
probably
the third or the
Yeah.
10th, like.
Yeah, better than the end.
It might come down to the property owner's availability as well.
right.
Sure, yeah.
correct. Yeah, I'm just gonna put both of those Saturdays and let's just see whichever one shakes out best for most
Yeah.
people, maybe.
All right, yeah,
And-
we'll make this a recurring agenda item.
Yeah.
in the room.
And what would you think would be again, treating this like a pilot, we're just seeing, testing the waters, doing it at a small scale, learning some lessons. Would you think, are it 3 sites too many? Or 2, or should we, what are your thoughts?
I think discuss it in January,
I think
Yeah.
I could definitely look up some other communities our
and
size.
see what they,
Okay.
how many they do.
See how they
Yeah.
do kind of tours. I know that we did, I don't know how many years ago, we used to have a map of the landmarks and they did a walking tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever did like a doors open kind of thing.
Frostwoods used to do an architectural tour,
Yeah,
they
which was
have those.
exterior.
Yeah.
exterior only.
But somebody led the walk, I
But
think.
something to consider might be asking if somebody from Ho-Chunk wanted to be at one of the mounds doing a,
Yeah.
you know, it's an
yeah,
open
right.
house kind of thing, come learn about
Yeah, that'd be
a
great.
mound
Mhm.
instead of just having it be our
Structures.
structures.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Yeah.
Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth, Brenda. That's exactly what I would love.
But that could be an open house, stop
Yeah.
by and somebody's there to talk
Right.
about it.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of an open house because it just doesn't require a tremendous amount of orchestration. It's just between these hours and these hours, swing by, Rebecca, did you say something? I think, was it Open House Milwaukee or
doors open.
Doors Open? That's right, yeah. That's a cool name.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a lot of communities do that. Milwaukee is much different than Winona.
yeah.
The reason to
Yeah,
have, the reason
but-
to have tickets is because if you have
They
a
have
ticket,
tickets, yeah.
if you have a ticket to an event, you put it on your calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's just an open house, you keep it kind of in your mind that maybe I'd go and then you forget to go that
Yeah.
day. So
Yeah.
that's why I think people typically do tickets, even if
Yeah.
you're not selling. But let's do an Eventbrite where you have to sign up to be able to go, so,
Pre-register.
Mhm.
and then you could also.
That way the owners know too. how
And then
to
you know you
stop.
don't have more than 100 people coming through, but you probably know you at least have some.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Way to start it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay, sweet. But let's not put this off until,
No,
too
that-
far down the road. Let's keep it on the agenda like Thor said. I think that's really great to not let this escape. All right. And then when we look at other aspects of our work plan, then we've got medium-term projects taken care of by city staff, Springhaven Pagoda documentation. With the help of our landmark members, we've got that documentation rolling along really well. And then under long-term projects, National Register outreach. Do we have a short list of those next eligible properties already queued up? just reading that, building on the momentum of the
We have-
CLG.
The architectural survey from 2019 has a full list of properties that are potentially eligible, so I think we would just work our way down that list.
Okay,
We can prioritize.
Maybe we could have that list in our next agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look through it.
Mhm.
let's
Yeah.
do that.
and
Yeah,
decide.
there's new property owners at 5711 Monona Drive. There's like a brick home behind the Ultimate Salon.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
New property owners, so it
Was
might
that
be,
plan commission?
it was, yeah.
Yes, which house?
It's like a Tudorish looking property back there.
I would really love to know more
I
about that
think it
place.
belonged to the
Me
Ultimate
too.
and it's divided property.
Oh, that place, right,
Yeah.
that.
They used it as a spa retreat
They
thing or
used
something.
it, yeah.
like
Yeah.
leaves and stuff.
Yeah, so
They
it,
used it as a cancer,
Oh, there's no.
spa.
It's called the Evergreens, yeah.
yeah,
Somebody bought it?
yes,
Yeah,
they
were
own
gonna- they
the
wanna put it-
salon and the house.
They
Go for it.
It's a yoga studio. They have a zoning permit for
They
that.
wanna do what, a yoga studio?
Happy meditation.
I'll go just to go in.
I know, it's a cute place.
Yeah,
So parking there though, right?
They built they have like 30 stalls.
There's
there.
parking
The
behind
access from
Ultimate.
Owen Road.
You have to go behind,
Yeah.
It's kind of hidden, but you can.
Behind
see it
Ken's.
there.
Not much.
come from behind Ken's. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, it is kind of hidden there. It's kind of.
I know in the past, I have tried to find information on that place, not been successful, but
Okay.
maybe these new owners
Yeah.
can help out.
Okay. So we do have a list of properties queued up and we can add that list to our next meeting's packet. That would be great. And then, Thor, do you have everything you need then for the second to the last item, CLG grants and soliciting RFPs? I think we did touch on that already. But
Yep.
I just want to make sure. Okay,
Yeah, we're still waiting on WHS for the next steps to move that project along. Then we'll just move as quickly as we can.
sweet. And then the final thing, exploring possibilities of drafting preservation design guidelines. What do we need in order to move forward on that? One, do we want to do it? One, and two, if yes, what do we need?
I think that it would be something we apply for a CLG grant
Yeah.
to do. So it just continued discussions about what that entails, maybe bring in someone from the Historical Society to discuss, you know, what design guidelines, the purpose, how small communities, you know, typically tackle those, and then we would decide to, yeah, it would be work that we would contract out, certainly, and CLG grants cover that expense.
Mhm. One thought I have about this list, I love the lists and I love that there's a column for who is responsible for it and a column for the timeline. But regarding the timeline, does that signify the time when we would begin work or the time when we would expect to finish the work? Perhaps we need two different columns just to keep ourselves on task. Like for example, you know, we just talked about Historic
Ongoing
Preservation
versus-
Month and, you know, open houses. We can start that work right now. A lot of this work we
Yeah.
can start right now.
More like a timeline for current and then an ongoing timeline,
Exactly, like a start date.
or
and an
maybe it
end
just
date.
says ongoing.
Ongoing completed.
Okay. If it is ongoing, yeah, but I do like to have a start date and an end date, just so that so that nothing sneaks up on us, right?
Yeah, like I think the December dates are on there because that's the end of the year.
Yes,
And
yeah,
we'll just roll it
Right.
over.
yeah,
But the others like that are the submissions of letter of intent. Those are actually
Those are actual
are-
dates.
Those
due
are
dates, yeah,
confirmed completion date.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so maybe two.
I can add this
Yeah.
second column, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so we can approve this today with that change that I added a second column, or we could move it,
Do you
we
need
can
a
just
motion?
table it.
I
Yeah.
made the last
No.
one. Who wants to make it?
Yeah.
I'll move approval
I'll second that one.
With the,
with the addition of
Uh,
move approval with the addition of another date column to clarify project status or
dates.
due dates.
yeah,
Clarify due dates.
All right. We have a motion and I think we have a second,
I'll
correct?
did you second it?
that's
I think it did, yeah.
Perfect. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Sweet. Thank you, everybody. All right.
So,
So then let's move on then to some new business. 6A, discussion and possible action on 6204 Ridgewood Avenue, which is the George Nichols Farm, and the documentation related to that. Take it
Yeah,
away,
so
Thor.
It's a little light, this one. Our file here at City Hall is, there's a couple building permits for like water heater replacements, but nothing major. As far as I know, they've never come through for a certificate of appropriateness. There's no building permit records for anything.
pre-1990.
Yeah, right.
and then,
And like, there's been, no rehabs at all.
and then has it
or-
been sold?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know,
so-
I don't imagine, we don't have records of that.
That's
Yeah.
not existing,
Yeah.
no.
Okay,
So one thing that we should discuss is when it was originally nominated, it was nominated as the house, the Nichols House
mm-hmm,
back in the seventies, and then when we reaffirmed and added landmarks in 2015, 2016, it was nominated as the Nichols Farm site, the whole site, so something to discuss there.
So it's currently the farm site is our.
That's how it's currently listed, yes, the George Nichols Farm site.
and the
Which he had.
markers listed George Nichols home.
Right, because that
Yeah.
depends when it first came.
And you already have a photograph of the marker?
That's just from the historical marker database.
You're taking your
Whoever
taking your
took this
job very
picture
seriously.
has one.
And then the other one I copied was from the Historic Blooming Grove Historical Society, what they had a little blurb on their website and a picture.
Is that what they have?
The historical,
This one looks in good condition.
yeah, that looked like a good one, yeah.
You know, that's exactly what I'm referring to in the sense that the letters, the raised letters are shiny and you can read it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm meaning, yeah.
So does that mean right now, if it was done as the George Nichols Farm site, that it's not the house anymore currently?
Then
or-
it's the whole site,
The whole thing,
everything
the
is
house.
contributing.
And the lot is a farm?
I think his farm was much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I assume
It's
not.
farm.
Yeah, I mean, and-
You see Nichols?
I was gonna
I know, I'm just saying, it's not really the farm site, it's
No, I was
the
gonna say,
farm,
does it even say
a
what,
house site.
I don't know why you would have done the whole site.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
There is a,
garage
I think there is a
there.
mound out the
garage
back
is
door
attached.
of the house.
Yeah,
The
that's-
garage attached,
but,
No, no,
Yeah,
there's
greenway.
the circle mounds and the outlet mound.
Outlet
in
mounts
front.
across the street.
But I
Yeah.
think that there is a mound right outside their back door, right?
Oh,
Their
okay,
backyard
she
is
could've said
a mound, I
Might
think.
be.
okay,
The whole area is full.
what was I
It
gonna,
is.
yeah, what was I gonna say, this one doesn't say how much property we have. That might be in another book I have,
Well,
but,
so you're saying, Thor, it's
Pull
something to
can we just call
consider,
it, can we call it a farmhouse? I
It'll show
mean.
you the lot.
like, whatever it wants, we just passed, but.
Everything's labeled here, but,
You already. Okay.
so yeah, on here it's Wisconsin
And then
farmhouses,
go to the-
architectural style. And they,
The
yeah,
regular. Layer view, the other view.
and actually it was his retirement,
It shows you the lot of view.
Mhm.
so it
Mhm.
wasn't even actually the farm.
okay.
It's his retirement house that he moved to.
You could zoom
Oh,
in
for-
Down the farm, yeah.
the outline of it.
I've got Google Earth.
That doesn't look,
So have,
that's not.
Maybe it's
right.
Google Earth.
Yeah, that doesn't look right, there's too many,
Yeah.
Ridge Road, you gotta be. maybe.
Graham, you
That's,
do-
I don't know why we did the whole site, maybe it's because it's such a small
It is
site.
there, I can see it, outlet, what's it say there?
That's the
Outlet
mountain
Park
that's
across
in
the-
Outlet
the
Mound, so that's the
island,
mound
yeah.
across the street, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, is that with the red roof? What's that with the red roof coming off of Ridgewood Avenue?
here,
That's the corner one, right?
yeah, it's where the red dot is, that's the house,
yeah,
Oh, there's the red dot, I didn't see the red dot.
so it's not a very big site.
No,
no,
that's not one of the big Monona lots, that's an odd,
Does it-
small one.
Does it? No, it matters if they ever come to the commission for work,
yeah,
but that doesn't mean they're gonna come and say, hey, can we put a tree in, we're not gonna do anything about that.
no, right.
So,
I don't think they have room
Is
to
it
do
that-
anything.
detrimental that it's,
The site versus.
I mean, we would have to have it
Yeah,
what's the word, resolution, a new resolution.
right, I
to
think it,
Change it.
well, and the site would include the
The site
house
includes
as
the
well.
house,
Yes.
so.
Right,
Yes.
I'm wondering if is it more restrictive for the property owner, say if they wanted to,
If they wanted
Build
to
a
put
shed or
something
something.
up, yeah,
you know,
I mean, you need a permit to put a shed up anyway.
yeah, you do, but.
So we would
restriction-
want that shed to match the house, kind
Yeah,
It's about, I mean,
of, not
otherwise, I
match it, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
be appropriate,
yeah, right,
so.
don't think they have enough land. But yeah. And I mean, they're not gonna do any architectural changes, that would be specifically not the property.
And I think a shed would be the only thing.
Yeah. Is there even a
Wanna
garage?
review it,
yeah, we probably would,
so I think the site is fine,
Is there a
Yeah.
garage there?
it's
it's
attached.
attached by a
Attached.
breezeway,
Mhm.
Let's be over there to the left more.
yeah, so.
Well, we can add this, like I said, I just printed this out from
Sorry, Bloom Grove,
the
website.
historical Grove one, and then
That is in the packet.
Yeah.
That's nice, yeah,
the. Cause they didn't have this one, a property record, some of them have property records, and those are really nice. Those give a lot of information.
yeah, I think this historical society relies on.
Yeah.
Volunteer work I
Yeah.
used to do, I don't know if I did that one, but boy, they don't all have write-ups.
No, they don't, no, so I
used to do
bet
the
now we're
write-ups.
looking.
It's nice.
Yeah, I looked it up on Access Dane, that's the size of the lot.
There you go.
Oh,
Maybe
that's a big
I'm
one.
not that,
Oh, okay.
maybe that's what I was trying to tell.
So it's equivalent to the other lots, it's
Yeah,
just the
but it's
positioning.
not a deep one,
No.
because that development went in behind it afterward.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just the positioning of how the house
And
is
the house is
located.
pretty wide already, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
there's
house
just-
takes up almost the entire
Yeah,
lot.
there's just not, you can
Yeah.
see by that, but it's not huge.
so the Blooming Grove website says that he purchased the house when he retired.
Right,
I was just reading the same thing.
It was never his farm,
His
Right.
farm, well, I
Right.
think it was on his farm.
On his farm?
and his
I think
house
so.
was over on Dean Avenue,
Cause he had another
408.
house.
408 West Dean. So maybe we should mark 408 West Dean as
Still
the,
there.
yeah, it's still there. I
Oh.
think it's a green looking thing. It's stuccoed out too. If you look, it's,
Really?
yeah, it's still there. There it is.
Oh,
That's original?
oh,
It's
that's
been
where
stuccoed
Nick was-
out like the Calbish house, and they put in a
Huh.
picture window instead. You know,
Huh.
the bay window instead.
yeah,
That's the original
that's the
Nichols
Nichols house.
farmhouse. That's the original
But
house.
that's not a landmark.
That's-
No,
This
no,
one
no.
is.
I
Yeah.
know.
So in 1851, he bought a farm and lived at the house that was located at what is now 408 West.
Why isn't
D.
this one the landmark?
Well,
Yeah.
I
The
think
home on
this-
Ridgewood was his retirement home.
but how long did he live on the one on Dean?
Well, that we would have to go into
Did he
the town
build
hall
this?
at the Blooming Grove.
Yeah, but did he build the 1878?
Probably, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else out there but him. No, he moved in what? It said 1851 he bought it.
Well, he had 163 acres, so yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, go ahead. So yeah, no, so he says it built in 1878, that's this one, but then in 1851, so it was like 20 some years later, he moved there.
Yeah.
Do you think the farm stretched from Dean to Nichols? It's interesting that
It did.
Nichols Road is so far away from Dean, you know, the guy lived on
It was
Dean,
well,
his
it's
name was
how-
Nichols,
23
yet-
acres on the thingy, how do they divide
in
that?
hundred and 60 acres.
Yeah,
It was a
that-
big place.
right, so it's, I remember we got
Yeah.
taught that.
Yeah, and then. Chet
40
Park
acres is
was
a
across the
divisional, right?
street.
40 acres is a quarter
Yeah,
section, right?
right.
Yeah, so he owned a lot, but,
Yeah.
And that would all be up at the Historical Society, Blooming Grove records.
Okay.
1870.
So from the 2019 architectural survey, we got this map of
Right, is it on? there?
construction by year, so before 1900, we've got the Nichols home,
Correct.
Ridgewood, right here,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have any red marks on Owen.
Dean, no,
Or
wait.
Dean, yeah,
Dean.
sorry,
Dean.
Dean.
Yeah,
For-
between Dean, yeah.
You just have the Calvish one over there in yellow.
So is that one, or what's that 408 right now, is that the original structure?
The yellow,
Yes.
the yellow.
Yes.
Pick it up on Access Day.
Yeah, you just saw the picture of it.
Which
there.
one? 408, 408.
Where I saw the picture, somebody had the picture up. And like I say, it's just been stuccoed and they put a bay, the couple
Or
that's in
even
there
still
now,
probably would
put
tell
that
you
bay
what it
window in,
was.
otherwise it
Dean,
was just a flat.
I've got
picture
right
window.
enough on Dean, but it doesn't
Yep.
have the lot. It's
Does
just
it have the year it was built? Some.
See.
Oh, yeah, if you go into the little,
Okay, so maybe this is,
and like I say, it's a young couple.
Hmm.
And they got 2 kids.
I don't know, I knew the people used to be in there, but November 16th, 2018, it was last sold.
Yeah,
So I knew the people before that.
and then, does it,
I don't think it says, but I'll look it up.
Somebody would tell you the year they were
Wait,
built.
Westeen.
and you could approach them and see if they would want a marker.
Well, we'd have to land.
Well, you have to, I mean, we have, you'd have to
So-
fill out the application
Yeah.
to do.
Zillow says built in 1901, so I wonder if
That
that's
should be
not
on
the.
there. Well, they're supposed to, no. The recent rate.
So what you said, 1901?
1901.
Why
Or
would
Yeah.
what's currently a 408.
maybe it just doesn't have enough of its original features.
I don't know that Access Day
It didn't
has the year built.
recognize it to be,
Yeah,
I don't think Access Day has the year
we would
built.
have to do our own
yeah,
Westing.
deep dive on it.
I think this one, 6204 Ridgewood, is the oldest structure in the city.
Well,
Mhm.
if that's 1901 and this is built in. Was it
1901,
1878.
yeah,
When somebody else. Well, I guess.
somebody else was there.
I think somebody else lived in it then,
But he may have built it, but he may, when they say he
Right.
built it,
maybe.
he easily could have had
And
a
it could have been
house
a
on this
farmhand.
ridge, it could have been anything, it could have been a
Yeah,
kid, family, whatever, and then he
Yeah.
Mhm.
built.
A farmhand that worked
The
that
house.
end of the plot of land or something like
Yeah,
that.
Or
the
a
house was
family member.
located on 163 acres that Mr. Nichols purchased when he retired from farming.
Right.
For.
yeah,
When you
Well, that's what
So he bought a bunch of land.
Mhm.
and then moved to the edge of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want the farm.
That's what it says he did,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean.
But he bought,
But Mr. Nichols died in 1900.
hmm
So should I mean, I don't know how much time we have, I do have other books in the car.
Mrs. Nichols died in 1901.
we only,
Like
we only
footsteps,
have
footsteps through Monona,
He
I have
died
that
to be
one.
his house because he died in 1900.
Mm-hmm.
And that house was built in 1901.
So there must have been another
the
structure.
408,
there.
yes, Dean.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
can't
there
be
must
the
have been
original
another,
house.
right.
That's
Yeah,
not
so
his
there
house
must be
then.
another,
Well, unless that's not accurate, that it was built in
That's
nineteen
true,
oh one,
Yeah, right.
Correct.
That's
correct.
true.
because it easily could be wrong, what was that pulled from? Access Day
That's
didn't have a year
Zillow.
built, so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll look in those other books. I have-
Yeah, we definitely need some more research
Okay.
into this
Yeah.
one, clearly. We do only have a half hour left before
Yeah.
transit takes over this room.
Okay, we can.
So I'll look through those other books, and I did get a note from the Blooming Grove, and they're updating one of their publications. On historic homes in Blooming Grove, so we'll see maybe what they have coming out of that too.
So this one's not done yet.
No.
So I'll
no,
just put that
sir.
one over here.
So
That
Thor,
way
what
this-
is it that we should be talking about with possible action on 6204? Just that
Mm-hmm.
Anne mentioned that she might look into something. just now?
Possible action, that's if
I'll
we
look it down,
approve
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's just how I'll have these on the agenda anytime in case there's ever a situation where in the first read, it's
Sure,
already
is
have
it?
to be approved.
Sure.
But this one has a pretty incomplete record.
Because they're
Yeah.
deep.
I think we weren't able to reach out to Blooming Grove prior to the meeting, so here's, you know, this was just from the websites essentially that I.
And do
Good
we need
start.
someone to follow up on any action on
Anne
this?
is gonna be reaching out to Blooming Grove,
Okay,
and she said she has some other books to
sweet,
take a look
Yeah,
through.
so I'll look more on this one here.
very nice. And
And
then
I,
just,
I pulled up things that Thor had given me, I think, 6 addresses, right?
That's what was.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have left.
So then I kind of went and just pulled, off the internet what I could for them, and then I have the books too.
very nice.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Thor, you mentioned something I wanted to make sure I understood correctly. Did you say that 6204 was one of the oldest houses?
It's the oldest structure in the
Mhm.
city.
Wow,
Which one is?
This one, the
The one
farm.
we're talking about.
Yes.
it just doesn't feel that old when I look at it, but I don't
Well, I
know,
think there's been some
a lot of change.
new siding put up
Cause
and.
the
Yeah.
Dean House is 1860 something, so it's just 10 years difference than the
Yeah,
Dean House.
yeah,
And all of Monona Drive would have been the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
With all the other old homes
Yeah.
that were there.
Yeah,
the one on Dean looks like an old house, you know, like that, what was it, 804 Dean? Yeah. Okay, great. Is there any more that we need to say about the George Nichols farm?
I think we should reach out to the property owners as well, and just if they have a history of what work has been done. We're missing that from our file here at City Hall. So, yeah, I can do that.
I overheard someone talk about reaching out to the folks that live at 802 or the house on Dean.
Or
Was that just a passing comment or is that something we
Passing
actually
comment.
Just
want
a
to
passing
do?
comment, yeah.
Okay.
I don't,
We need to,
I think we need to
understand
finish
his-
this list and
Right.
and
Okay.
then
Don't
move
edit
on to
more.
new.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
So
Sounds
in the
great.
meantime, while we finish this one, we can start compiling the next. I think we should stick with residential, so
You bet.
we can
You
do
bet.
Schluter Farm site. Or Schultz Farm, proposed
Schultz, which one is that? Winnequa? Which one is that?
611.
They had kind of down there at Dean where you cross this one.
Oh, I know which one. That's the brand new boulder.
Mhm.
Well, within the last 10 years.
Schluter House, I did get property records, so that one had a lot
Well,
more.
maybe we do that one then.
Okay.
And then so I gotta get this right, Tower of Memories. Don't know how many Tower of Memories there are in the United States. Yeah.
The other cemetery.
That's
All right, Schluter Farm is
Yeah.
next.
the
Okay.
Schluter it is. That's wonderful.
That's right across from the library.
Yeah,
Very nice.
There's a little knockdown. Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Anne, for all of your help.
Problem.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is number 6B. We 2024 National Historic Preservation Month planning. We kind of already touched on this. And I think to summarize it all up, we were going to be resurrecting some PSAs and then planning something for 2025, right?
and the booklets.
Booklets at the library.
Booklets at the library. That's right.
Last year they did like a little
Display.
book display.
Yeah.
Will they do that
Yeah,
again for us?
I'll reach out and ask them. They can do it for a week at some point during.
I know that we have a lot of books bought for.
Yeah, they just
Purchase
used
for
the
them.
list of books we bought with CLG funds
Yeah.
last year. I think they added a couple more as well.
Might be able
Yeah.
to see if the library has some that I know
Okay,
and let you know.
all right, yeah. Yeah,
How
we'll do this
about-
again.
How about something in the My Monona E-News letter, just to talk about it being Historic Preservation Month, and then maybe, I don't know, a screenshot of the booklet itself and maybe a link to it on the internet.
Yeah,
something
should we reduce the price of that as well? We still have like over 100 copies.
Yes.
And we sold less than 5 last
Oh.
How
year.
much do they go for?
Right now, they're
the
priced at
book?
15 books, yeah, the
Oh.
book,
$15 for a book.
For the brown one?
yeah,
I would reduce it.
I would too. We have a lot and we should,
So it's a special month. Come and buy it.
it's on sale, yeah.
Historic Preservation Month special,
Special.
$10.
But only during the
$10.
month of May. What do we
Yeah.
charge?
Mhm.
What do we think about for a price on that, just for May?
$8, $10, I don't know.
10?
$10, you don't have to make change.
There you go.
So 15 otherwise, 10 during
Yeah,
May.
regular 15 on sale.
$10.
Yeah.
I
5
like
they might actually sell though.
I
At 5.
it's worth considering.
Is there enough to sell at 5?
You said there's 100.
We win like 100 in the basement. yeah.
So is it, you wanna get rid of them?
Yeah.
Then
You have
sell them
to.
for 5.
Yeah.
Then
We
I
can
mean,
always
that's
print
your
more if we
object,
need
right,
to.
that's your
That's
object.
very true, and they're not fancy books
Right,
at all.
so it's
Like,
more of a
not Madonna in the
pamphlet.
making.
No,
It's a staple bound,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
I think, I'm good with
Oh,
it.
Or do you wanna say $7? You gotta go to that.
Yeah.
$5, you don't need to make change.
You got it, I'm in good totally, and my
May
whole
is, May
booth
is
at
the
farmer's
fifth
market
month
is
of the
$5.
year,
Yeah.
so it's $5 for the 5th month.
I like it,
Yeah,
yeah.
what if we, yeah, someone said farmer's market. What if we had a table at the farmer's market and we just had a stack
no,
of books that
nobody
people
pays
could buy?
attention to you.
No,
No, they won't pay attention to you, unless there's someone else down there with historical things,
Right.
you know, otherwise you're just another table at
That
the,
might be for, planning for
Mhm.
next year.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just another table down there. And you have to get permission to have a table put up,
Yeah.
You
that might
can't
be
just-
more planning than
you can't just bring your card table and put up.
we know someone on the board. that's
Can we-
sustainability
can we-
committee.
Oh,
Can we sell them at the library? Can we sell them at the library?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so.
So we will do
Forward to
that,
them.
for sure. Okay.
And then the map.
Map will be out, I can't remember how many.
Copies, right?
We did, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
The
kind
map
of
is
flimsy. We might
free,
wanna
but if
print
you
it out
want the
nicer card
context,
stock.
you gotta pay $5 for the book.
Yeah, very
That's fair.
companion book,
I like it. It's a teaser, right? It's like,
It's like that two-step hair process.
Oh, we didn't have them printed like on like a glossy.
It's
image.
glossy,
were
but it's,
very
it's,
nice.
it's not, it's like a brochure paper and it's
But it
not
was nice.
cardstock, it's,
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's good enough.
it's
Yeah,
good
and
enough,
integrates
yeah.
faster, so yeah, it's a good one, I thought, yeah.
People don't hang on to them,
That's right,
do for a week or two.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
yeah, the
Is there
senior center was
anything
really happy to accept them last year.
Oh, good, okay,
So again,
yeah, maybe even parks.
Yeah.
Up there at the community center.
And what was the other one? The Dean House will be having their garage sale,
oh yeah.
maybe
we
they
put
don't
some
want
over
that.
there. We put some over there last year.
Yeah.
yeah, let's do the
Wherever
Dean
we can
House.
put them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's coordinate with the Dean House for sure. Yeah,
Maybe Restore would take some, since they are on
Since they're
the
on.
register now.
Yeah,
Oh,
They can
yeah,
Put them at their council
yeah, it's a good idea.
that's a real good idea.
and maybe spread the news to other commercial businesses.
Might be able to-
Are they trying to do a big block?
The gas station, right?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, why not? Anyone who,
What gas station are you saying? Severson's?
Schwenn's,
Schwenn's.
Schwenn's, that's what I'm saying. And you could use Severson's. That's right.
but she says the architectural review's all wrong. That they got all the details wrong
Oh, dear me.
Oh, well, we can fix that.
about what's original and it's not.
Oh,
We can
good.
fix that. And they
So do we
only
need-
do it 10.
He's like the second or third owner.
Yeah.
But his kids are about to take over,
Oh,
so.
really?
I think
Oh, that might be.
we're all
It might
set
be
with this
if you want-
one.
You want tax credit?
I know, right?
I do wanna make sure we have enough time to discuss the pagoda. We've got about
Yeah.
15
So-
minutes.
do we need volunteers to distribute this information? I don't know if it should fall entirely on Thor, but
I don't mind taking the city car out for a little
Okay,
bit. It's
okay.
nice to get out.
Too.
It's nice outside.
It is, yeah.
Let Thor leave the
I get to-
office.
Yeah.
Walk next door and next
Yeah.
door.
Didn't you have a city bike?
We need one.
With a little
Little
wagon
city
behind?
That'd be great.
City should have
Little
an e-bike
electric
for
bike.
people to use on errands.
Yeah,
Okay, bring that one up.
so Thor, what I'm hearing is that, oh, excuse me. So Thor, what I'm hearing is that you'll be distributing the flyers and the books.
yeah, I'll get in touch with the library about a display.
Okay, great.
We just need someone to, are you, Teresa, are you gonna reach out to Will about the PSAs,
You bet,
try and track them down.
you bet.
Yeah.
And I'll do the e-newsletter.
Do you,
Okay,
I know you're leading this, Teresa, but do you want to take it out of order and do Frostwood CLG update real quick and then go to the pagoda?
Yeah, sure, let's do that. So let's jump down to number 6. Letter D, no. 6, the 2 I's National Registration nomination update for the Frostwoods Historic District CLG. Let's
yeah,
hear it.
not much update. My last update for you was we'd have the MOA before the end of March. We didn't get it. I reached out to Jason again this week and he said he expects them to go out to grant recipients by the end of this week. So don't have it in hand right now. But we'll get the MOA and then we'll sign that. That's just with the finance director. And then they'll send over a scope of work. And then once we have that and we agree to it, then we can do the RFP process. So, yeah, excited for that. I got a call this week from one Frostwoods resident who was asking me about how he could get a hold of those tax credits.
Wow.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
This
Fantastic.
This
That is
weekend,
fantastic.
they did roof work.
Yeah,
They, I think they just went ahead and did the roof work.
yeah, so it
I
sounds
think they
like,
did, they had people over there.
I saw them up there.
Is there
Well,
anything more to be said about this item?
no,
No?
Okay.
All right, then let's move on to 6, Springhaven Pagoda updates. Let's talk about that, Thor.
yeah, so we had the
I think they can.
RFP deadline has come and gone and we
Yeah.
had no bids. We did have a few organizations at least open and download the bid, so
It's hard
maybe,
to say though, because it's like tech zone,
yeah.
tech zone.
It's a lot of these agencies that just crawl bid websites and
Right.
then display them on their own, but I think. Let's see, like Midwest Art Conservation Center, I think would be relevant. Bully and Andrews Masonry Restoration. Helianthus, that's a landscape. I think they just saw that it was in a park. Probably opened it up.
Mhm.
Innovative Masonry Restoration.
I looked some of these up and they're big commercial.
Okay, yeah,
The only one that was the conservation center,
the Arts
So, like,
Conservation Center,
you know, KSW, they're big commercial.
yeah. Yeah, so it's hard to tell
They're big.
how much reach we had, but I reached out to about 20 conservators, anyone within a 250-mile radius. To let them know that the bid was open, it was out there.
Mhm.
And I heard back from one who said that she didn't bid on projects. Essentially, so
What's that mean?
I
Does she
think
do
just that
projects?
she does projects, but like this process is just abnormal for the folks that we're looking to hire.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Too specific, or they just don't, Do that.
Yeah, I think this just kind of usually they get solicited rather than,
Yeah.
the other way around.
yeah.
Didn't we have a group that had a mold all made or something?
The previous contract was to replace the roof,
Replace the roof.
but again, they were gonna just cut the roof off and then put a new one
That
on, but
was
that
when the
got
part
shut
was
down.
being done.
Yeah. So with this in mind, last week, the city administrator, Doug, the mayor, Teresa and I met just to discuss, next steps. And, we want to keep moving this project forward. There's no harm in just like putting this RFP out there again, but we wanna make sure that we're not wasting time. So we discussed reaching out to conservators just to see like, potential people who opened the bid, like why didn't you bid on this project? And there's talk of maybe using some of the budget to hire a conservator to maybe do an inspection, put together an actual treatment proposal, that then we use to put out for bid. Maybe we need something that has actual plans that's more detailed before we even do this bid process.
So spend more money on this thing.
And or take some of the budget to actually have, like some,
Something,
Didn't we-
something,
Didn't we
ready.
spend money on having the roof redrawn?
yeah,
yeah, so we have
and I
that.
thought it was
right.
lasered and everything, wasn't it?
That never.
That never-
But
wasn't
I think the idea was more like a definitive list of here are the work, here's the work we're looking to have to perform, this kind of epoxy and just this kind of seals. Which Greg kind of helped with that, had a conversation with him, discussed all the potential feasibilities. And he said he would put together that kind of treatment proposal,
We didn't pay
but
to do
we didn't pay him to do it, he didn't, of course. So,
that. Did a photo go with the RFP or?
there are photos in the plan document
Okay,
from 2016.
Yeah,
That was in there.
yeah, and that was in there. You're right. That's right. That was.
We had also discussed potentially, there's a concern right now that the foundation is not,
It's buried.
it's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
but the footings are degrading, right?
Yeah,
So there's,
Everything's degrading.
yeah,
It's in a waterlogged.
yeah. But there was
Oh,
discussion of maybe finding someone to first just shore up the footings, just to, safeguard us from the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right, like one of them's
That-
floating essentially.
This is all of them.
Mhm.
We are quickly approaching a point where
It's,
Right.
so, I don't care. You can look at the photos I took, but.
So do we
With
just
the
need to
footings
take
and the
this?
foundation,
You just take control from the Parks Department and say, this is our area and we're gonna come in. And we're gonna
It's-
clean it out and we're gonna do what you
It's
want
almost
to do.
gone though.
Right, and just say, we're
It's
gonna
gone.
come in and we're gonna dredge this out and we're gonna clean this all out. Do we need Parks Department?
I don't think they're gonna let us do that. They have it
That's-
fully landscaped
that's
down there.
new chunks of,
Yes.
it's roof on the ground.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a, so Teresa, I took a detour before
yeah,
and took pictures before the meeting. of
thank
the-
you. Text them to me if you get a chance.
Yeah,
So Thor,
question that
this
came
kind
out
of
of the meeting.
overlaps. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, was, let's say we do want to just shore up the footings before we move forward with the rest of the project. That could be a work that maybe someone,
Public Works can do?
or, I don't know. Or just, a bigger firm,
Yeah.
that, just a concrete firm, a
A
sign.
monument firm. I think we should look for somebody that's working with
Is
that.
that
Well,
be a bid then, or is
It's,
that?
if
we're
it's
not
small enough,
spending
no,
as
if it's less than
much?
25,000, no.
Okay.
But the concern would be, does the material match,
Right.
right? And with the footings, does it matter? That'd be a question for the commission.
Well, the footings are
footings would
different.
have
I
to
don't
be
know if you've
different
seen
kind.
photos,
Yeah.
but the footings are like, it's like, was it stacked, dry stack? It's not like their own foundation, it's a dry.
Somebody
stack.
just built it on their own. They
Yeah.
just used whatever they
I
had
don't
and built
know, I don't know how you can shore that up without restacking, like.
Okay,
I think maybe we need to relook at the plan and what it's made out of underneath all of that, because it's completely buried.
Mhm.
And it should be showing 2 feet of it.
okay. Just dig out the foundation,
I mean, we don't wanna have to do that again. We
Right.
did that already.
yeah,
But when they did this, when they built this all in, when we went and looked at it as a site visit last year, it was
And I have pictures of.
clearly way
around there,
too
so if you
filled
wanna
in.
have other pictures.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
just not set to drain, right?
Right, yeah, it's draining back.
Yeah.
It's not being, so it's not being taken care of
Mhm.
because,
It's
stuff's growing all
deteriorating
over
more.
it, yeah. You got all that mud on top of it now.
yeah,
We need to look at I don't have the plan to see what it actually looks like,
So maybe it's.
What they
in
drew
that
up.
pack I-
what the engineer drew
Yeah.
up for that plan.
so the priority is to clean the foundation
No.
first. Priority is, what's the priority then?
Wish we knew somebody that was doing that kind of stuff, you know, who does. Is all I can think of, because they have to put those huge. Things that, you know, I mean, they have to know how to set something in. To support what's up there. And like you're saying, it's all just been put dried in, maybe it all has to come out and we have to
If
put
you-
all new supports in.
Have that report easily.
The
accessible.
If you,
2016
if you
plan.
clean all the mud and debris out of there, that doesn't
Doesn't solve the
not-
problem.
solve any.
No,
But the
it-
way they graded is they graded completely straight
Yeah.
across.
Right.
And you can't regrade that.
They grade it straight across with a trough up to the,
I think,
There's no, I mean, there's a small trough.
Right,
You
okay,
can't go
like-
down in like,
there's
No.
no,
sit around it.
No,
or
no,
anything
no,
like
you
that.
can't dig back further
Right, so
in and you.
At one point,
correct, there you.
But in the plan, there's like a drawing by the engineer.
okay,
So it
Yeah,
should have a
this
raised
guy
area
here.
and a pool of water and it's been
This, you know, it
landscaped
was
to the
supposed
wrong
to be.
level.
Correct. And the
I
only
know
way that I
Tracy, you
think
can't
could
see, but
probably
this was all
do it
supposed to be a walkway, you know, like you could come and sit down here.
okay,
That's what it was originally.
Retrain that track out,
And then did he also draw like the foundation?
and I get that, yeah,
Yeah, so this is all stacked.
uh-huh. Yeah, that's the picture.
I don't think you can shore that up.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is that, do we need to go in and have all new footings put in down there?
It's almost like the whole thing needs to be raised up.
That's-
to meet. It's just. there's
Yeah,
so
right.
little-
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Like, it's like the whole structure is too low under the current landscaping. of the
correct,
park.
with the erosion.
It's just too low.
okay.
But then it's not going to have a functioning spring. You're gonna give up on that if you raise it up. And the spring.
Was there
doesn't
water there?
It's just muddy.
Yeah.
But there was
I
water.
don't think.
function. There's water in
It's
there.
like just.
I don't wanna be a Debbie Downer, but I just have this gut feeling that when they put in that big box, they ruined the
Yeah, it's water,
aquifer.
it's got water, yeah.
It's got water in
Yeah,
it, but
we
you
don't know where.
And we don't know where it's
We don't-
pumping
yeah,
up from.
springs-
You don't know if that's
springs
coming from
move.
the
Yeah.
lake.
Yeah, the water table
It's
changes,
leaching,
springs
right.
move, we're not sure, you know, we could do those,
Right.
there's no guarantee the spring would
I
flow
mean,
again.
this is not
Exactly.
being maintained whatsoever.
No,
And who was,
No.
and at the time when that was built, it could have been a artesian well, right?
And they've got these.
You know what I'm saying?
stuff
Bubbling out,
everywhere.
right.
not just
Yes,
sitting
it
there.
certainly needs to be
Right.
cleaned, and there's some volunteers that plan to clean
So I
it.
was like, here's what
But why are the sandbags there?
around it,
Yeah.
Good
This
question.
is what I was gonna offer up. So, the Parks Department is having 2 park
Yeah.
cleanup days. And there's a group from Historic Blooming Grove that would like to particularly focus on cleaning up the area around the pagoda that we're talking about right now. And they were planning on coming out on Earth Day between noon and 2 o'clock, which is on a Monday, but there's no school that day. And this is what the parks are calling their Do More Trash Bash. It's this event that you may have heard about.
So
There's
what makes
also
me
an
nervous
opportunity-
about. What makes me nervous about people going to try to clean up around that pagoda is I find it a safety hazard. There is rebar sticking out again of the roof, which is like corroded metal, you know.
We can have folks sign a waiver like we've been doing for tours of the Frank Alice house.
I guess I would say that there's 2 opportunities.
or maybe know specifically who's gonna work there and walk through it prior,
I think I would like to know what they plan to do.
right, to know what they're gonna do.
It up.
Sure.
So Anne Wadalich of the Historic Blooming Grove Group has asked me if she could get a group of volunteers together just to tidy up the area around the pagoda.
But not dig it
I-
up.
No.
What's that?
Not
Not
She
dig
wants
dig
to
it-
like rake around it, I guess,
No,
right?
It
Is
said
that-
just clean it up, just clean it up.
There's no litter
But-
on it.
But
leaf litter and stuff.
yesterday,
Debris.
Yeah, here you go.
so
Oh.
yesterday I received an email from Anne asking a few questions and I forwarded them today to Missy and Jake at Parks. And Anne now wanted to know things like what could be done with the large black rolls that are lying on the ground next to the pagoda.
Great question.
She's wanting to know, about dumps of small stones from vandals, what can be cleaned up. Her initial concern was just to remove weeds and debris. and just to rake the grounds area around it. I mean, one thing that we could do is we could just see if a group from this body might join Anne and her group. I mean, I would be happy to do that and to just sort of collaborate and get some thoughts behind this. I mean, she's got this willing group of very interesting volunteers, and I think it would be wonderful to leverage that.
What date was that again?
22nd. We've got about 2 minutes to wrap up here.
Okay, so
Was that
the,
April?
just, I'm trying to answer the question. The microphone is cutting in and out. I'm sorry if I'm talking over people, but I think the question on the table was, what date was that? There's 2 dates. The first is April 22nd. That's a Monday from noon to 2 o'clock. And the other one is April 20th, which is a Saturday. Both of them are sponsored by the Parks Department, park cleanup days. And if it would be easier to do this on Saturday, I could ask Anne Wadlich if her group would prefer to meet on Saturday. It would be nice to have representation from this group, just to sort of discuss with her and the others from Blooming Grove what's possible. It would probably also be nice to do this during a park cleanup day so that we could have someone from Parks be there. I mean, Jake would be there, right? Or he could be there.
I guess we just don't have a lot of time to even discuss this, and we don't know what we're gonna do with this. We don't know. I think there's a lot of unknowns that cleaning up leaves and weeds is a fine thing to do, but
And that's what they'll do.
I think that's all that can be done right now.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do.
Okay.
And while they are there, do we want to jump on that opportunity? They're already going to be there. Do we want to take that opportunity to meet them and to see and maybe bring in someone from Parks?
I think we would be opening ourselves up to people questioning what's happening with it, and we don't know.
Okay,
And I feel better approaching Parks with an idea, not listening to them rebound something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come with a proposal to them, not discuss with them.
I think a parks cleanup day and cleaning it up in that area is fine, but since we don't have time to really discuss like a more deep definitive plan for this, that's all we can do right now.
all right. So at this point then, what I'm hearing, or what I'm hearing is that this is just between Parks and Anne Wadlich's group is what I'm hearing at this point. It doesn't involve anyone from this body. Okay.
I just want one quick question. Rebecca, you said there's like new chunks of concrete on the ground.
Yep.
Is that worthwhile to pick up as pieces that are already off of what the material is? Because otherwise somebody's gonna
If
pick it up and
it's
throw it away.
Yes, if it's chunks of can somebody pick those up and like store them?
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
then
sure.
we know exactly what
We
it's
have that
made of.
concrete, yeah.
Otherwise, somebody at Parks Cleanup is gonna chunk the
Yeah.
Oh,
pieces.
I see what you're
And
saying.
the kids will chuck it.
Or some kid will throw it in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's what they
kids,
do.
that's what they do.
All right, we're out
But
of
they
time.
do. All right, we're
Exactly.
out of time, folks. So we're gonna have to just table things for next time. The updates discussion on Frank Ellis House, we'll make sure to talk about that next time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second.
All right, and all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye, meeting adjourned at 5:59. Before we leave the room, though, I do want to thank Branda for staying on. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, you're not staying on. Psych.
Last meeting, my last meeting.
Yeah, Brenda's going to be moving on. I know your schedule is getting very busy.
Yes, I have work and very ill.
All right, we gotta let the meeting get in here.
All right, we'll talk to you later, guys. See ya.